You are not tired because you worked too hard. You are tired because of what you are doing without even realizing it. Most people go through their entire day wondering why they feel exhausted before noon, why they cannot focus, why motivation feels like something that happens to other people. And they blame their job, they blame their sleep, they blame their diet, their age, their circumstances. But here is the truth. The biggest energy thieves are not the obvious ones. They are the small, invisible habits baked so deeply into your daily routine that you have never once stopped to question them. By the end of this video, you will know exactly which habits are secretly draining your energy every single day. And more importantly, you will know what to replace them with starting today. Not next week, not after you finish that course or read that book. Today. And stick around, because the last habit on this list is the one almost nobody talks about. It is hiding in plain sight, and once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Here is what makes this whole thing so frustrating. These habits do not feel like problems. Some of them actually feel productive. Some of them feel like self-care. That is exactly what makes them so dangerous. And exactly why so many smart, hardworking people stay stuck in this cycle of low energy for years without ever figuring out why. Think about the last time you felt genuinely energized. Not caffeinated, not powered through, actually energized. For most people, that memory is surprisingly hard to access. And that should tell you something. Because the human body is designed to have energy. It is designed to recover, to focus, to feel motivated. When it stops doing those things consistently, something is getting in the way. And most of the time, that something is not what you think. Research consistently shows that chronic low energy is not caused by one big problem. It is caused by a dozen small leaks happening simultaneously. Think of your energy like a phone battery. You are not losing it all at once. You are just leaving 100 apps running in the background all day long. And by 2 p.m., you are at 11%, wondering why you are struggling to function. So here is exactly how this works. Let us go through the habits that are secretly draining your energy every day, one by one. And let us actually understand what is happening inside your body and brain when each one occurs. Because when you understand the why, the fix becomes obvious. The first habit is checking your phone within the first 10 minutes of waking up. This one feels harmless, maybe even necessary. You are just checking the time, maybe glancing at a message from last night. But what you are actually doing in that moment is handing over control of your entire mental state to other people before your own brain has even had a chance to fully come online. Your brain spends the first 20 to 30 minutes after waking in a slow, receptive wave state. Scientists call this the hypnopompic state. Your mind is calm, open, and impressionable. It is almost like wet cement. Whatever you expose it to first sets the tone for how your mental and emotional systems will operate for hours. When you flood that window with notifications, social media comparisons, breaking news, and other people's demands, you trigger a low-level stress response that can persist throughout the entire morning. Your cortisol spikes, your nervous system shifts into reactive mode, and you start your day already playing catch-up, already responding to the world instead of leading yourself through it. The fix is almost embarrassingly simple, and yet it is one of the hardest for people to actually do. Keep your phone in another room at night. Give yourself the first 15 to 20 minutes of your morning with absolutely nothing external coming in. No screens. No news, no messages, just you, some water, maybe some light. That quiet window is not wasted time. It is the foundation your entire day is built on. People who protect this window consistently report feeling calmer, more focused, and more in control all day long. Now, the second habit is one that almost nobody connects to energy loss, and yet it might be costing you more than almost anything else on this list. It is having too many small choices in the morning. What should I wear today? What should I have for breakfast? Should I exercise this morning or tonight? Should I respond to that email before or after my coffee? Every single one of these decisions, no matter how trivial it seems, costs you mental energy. Psychologists have a name for the result: decision fatigue, and it is not a metaphor. It is a measurable decline in your brain's ability to make good decisions as the number of decisions you make increases throughout the day. Barack Obama talked openly about wearing the same style of suit every single day during his presidency, not because he lacked creativity or personal style, because he understood something most people never learn. Every decision, no matter how small, is a withdrawal from your mental energy account. He needed that account full for the decisions that actually mattered. And here is the part that makes this so insidious. Decision fatigue does not feel like tiredness. It feels like irritability. It feels like procrastination. It feels like that vague sense of being overwhelmed by things that should be simple. And most people respond by pushing harder, which only makes it worse. The fix is to automate your mornings as much as possible. Choose your outfit the night before. Have a simple breakfast rotation you cycle through without thinking. Make a short list of your non-negotiable morning actions so you are following a sequence rather than making choices. The goal is to arrive at your most important work of the day with your decision-making ability still intact. This is one of those things that is absolutely worth saving this video for, because once you map out your automated morning, you will want to come back to refine it. Now here is where it gets really interesting, because the next two habits are the ones that feel the most productive. They look like discipline. They look like dedication, but underneath the surface, they are silently pulling the plug on your energy reserves. Habit 3 is never fully disconnecting from work. This is one of the defining challenges of modern life. The line between work time and rest time has essentially collapsed for most people. You are checking messages during dinner. You are thinking about that unresolved project while you are trying to fall asleep. You are mentally drafting emails in the shower. Your brain receives no clear off signal, and the cost of that is enormous. Here is the science behind why. Your brain has two main operating modes. There is the task-positive network, which is active when you are focused, solving problems, and making decisions. And there is the default mode network, which activates when you are not doing anything goal-directed, when you are resting, daydreaming, taking a walk without listening to anything. This second network is not idle time. It is when your brain processes the information it collected during the day, consolidates memories, generates creative connections, and restores itself. It is essentially your brain's maintenance mode. If you never give it space to activate, the maintenance never happens, and things start to break down slowly. Your focus shortens, your creativity dries up, your patience shrinks, your energy flatlines. The fix here is to create what some productivity researchers call a shutdown ritual, a deliberate, consistent signal that work is over for the day. Close your laptop. Write down any open tasks so your brain does not have to hold them. Say out loud, in whatever words feel natural, that work is done. Then, actually stop. This ritual sounds too simple to matter. It matters more than almost anything else you can do for your energy long term. Habit 4 costs the average knowledge worker somewhere between 2 and 4 hours of productive capacity every single day. And most people have no idea it is happening. It is constant task switching. You are deep in a report. Your phone buzzes. You glance at it. You reply quickly. You go back to the report. Except your brain did not go back with you. Researchers at the University of California, Irvine found that after any interruption, it takes an average of 23 minutes to fully return to the same depth of focus you had before. 23 minutes for one interruption. Now multiply that by the 10 or 12 interruptions most people experience in a typical workday, and the math becomes genuinely alarming. You are not just losing minutes, you are losing the ability to do your best thinking. And here is something worth really sitting with. A lot of the task switching we do is self-initiated. We are not just responding to external interruptions, we are interrupting ourselves. We open a new tab. We check email for no reason. We scroll for 30 seconds because we hit a moment of mental friction in our work. Every time you do that, you pay the 23-minute price. The fix is to work in protected time blocks. Choose one task, set a timer for 45 to 90 minutes, close every tab and application you do not need. Put your phone in another room, or at minimum on full Do Not Disturb, and commit to that one task until the timer ends. This is not about being rigid. It is about being honest with yourself about what deep focus actually requires. Practice it once tomorrow, and pay attention to how different it feels. Now, this next one might be the most counterintuitive thing on the entire list, and I genuinely want you to hear it with an open mind. Habit 5 is not resting enough during the day on purpose. Not rest as in more sleep, though that matters too. Rest as in intentional, deliberate breaks built into your working hours. Most driven people push through. They see breaks as weakness or distraction, but your brain does not operate on a flat line of sustained performance. It runs on what neuroscientists call ultradian rhythms, roughly 90-minute cycles of higher performance followed by a natural dip. When you hit that dip and ignore it and keep pushing, your body finds another way to take that rest. You zone out mid-sentence. You reread the same paragraph 3 times without it registering. You become irritable over small things. You make avoidable errors. Forcing yourself through the dip does not eliminate the dip. It just makes the dip messier and longer. Here is something that will either fascinate you or mildly disturb you, depending on your personality. A study published in the journal Cognition found that even having your smartphone sitting on your desk, face down and completely silent, measurably reduces your available cognitive capacity. Not because you are using it, not because it is making noise, just because it is there, and your brain is allocating a small but consistent portion of its processing power to the possibility of it. That is how sensitive your attention system is, and that is how much energy is quietly being consumed by things you are not even consciously aware of. The fix for Habit 5 is to take a real break every 90 minutes. Not a scroll break, not a check your phone break, an actual mental reset. Stand up, walk around, go outside if you can, breathe without looking at a screen. Even 5 to 10 minutes of genuine disengagement resets the cycle and allows your next work block to start at full capacity instead of a depleted one. Habit 6 is keeping your to-do list inside your head. Every task you are trying to remember, every commitment you have made, everything you are worried about forgetting, each one of those is sitting in your working memory, taking up active processing power right now. Your brain is not designed to be a storage device. It is a processing device. And when you force it to store things, it runs constant background processes to make sure nothing gets dropped. This is why you lie in bed at 11 p.m. suddenly remembering something you needed to do 3 days ago. Your brain has been quietly tracking it the whole time, and the moment you relax enough to listen, it surfaces. This background processing is exhausting in a way that is very hard to identify because it does not feel like thinking. It just feels like vague anxiety, that low-level sense of something hanging over you that you cannot quite name. And for a lot of people, that feeling is present all day, every day. The fix is what productivity researchers call a brain dump. Every morning, before you start anything else, take a blank piece of paper or open a simple notes app and write down every single thing that is in your head. Tasks, worries, ideas, things you are putting off, things you are afraid you will forget, random thoughts that keep resurfacing. Get all of it out of your head and into a visible external form. Once it is written down, your brain receives a signal that it no longer needs to actively track those things. The background processes shut off, and you feel a noticeable physical lightening within minutes of doing this. This habit alone can recover more mental energy than almost anything else on this list. Send this to someone you know who is constantly running on empty and can never figure out why. Because what I am about to share is the thing that ties every other habit together, and most people spend their entire lives not connecting these dots. Now, everything I have shared so far is important. Every single habit on this list is worth changing. But this last one, This is the one that changes the whole picture. This is the one that, once you understand it, makes everything else make sense. Habit 7 is the way you talk to yourself when things go wrong. This is not soft advice. This is physiology. Negative self-talk, the kind most high-performing people have running on a near-constant loop, is not just emotionally draining, it is biochemically draining. When you tell yourself you are stupid for making a mistake, when you replay a conversation wondering what was wrong with you, when you berate yourself for not being further along, your body reads those thoughts as a threat signal. Your cortisol rises, your inflammatory markers go up, your immune system takes a measurable hit. Your motivation circuits in the brain begin to suppress output because your system has concluded that effort is not safe right now. You are essentially walking around with a critical, hostile voice in your head all day long. And you are somehow surprised that by evening you are completely drained. The research on this is stark. People with high levels of chronic negative self-talk consistently show lower energy, higher rates of burnout, and significantly impaired decision-making compared to people who have learned to shift their inner dialogue. Not to fake positivity, not to pretend everything is fine, just to respond to themselves with the same basic decency they would offer a person they care about. The shift here is a single, practiced question. When something goes wrong, when you make a mistake, when you fall short of what you intended, stop and ask yourself, what would I say to a close friend who just experienced this exact thing? And then say that to yourself, out loud if you can. That reframe, practiced consistently over time, begins to rewire the default response. It changes your internal environment, and when your internal environment changes, your energy changes with it, because you are no longer burning fuel fighting yourself all day long.